Good morning and welcome to Edmonton at the Granite Curling Club for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. I'm Kevin Jesus, joined with Dean Carlson. We've been broadcasting here for the last two ends. We've just found out that there were some technical issues that we actually weren't on the air.
That's interesting.
So we are now. So now we are going to provide you with your updates, let you know exactly where we are. So Edmonton won, throwing the yellow stones. Saskatoon won, throwing red stones. Edmonton, what do they look? Oh, they're trying to figure out if that's in the house or not. We can see it from up here. They're counting only one. But anyways, Edmonton won, scored one in the first end with the hammer, and then in the second they blanked it. So here we are. It's 1-0. Edmonton won over Saskatoon won. Both teams 1-1 coming into this game. Here's how they got there. Edmonton won their first game 8-1 over Calgary 2, and then lost last night 7-3 to Halifax 1. Over on for Saskatoon 1, they lost their first game 7-3 against Regina. Again, Regina's been the story of this event so far, making their debut. But then they rebounded nicely, beating Vancouver 6-4. That was our feature game last night. And they're back here again for today's feature game over on Sheet C. The other feature game that we are showing, by the way, is over on Sheet B. Toronto 2 taking on Montreal. Toronto 2 with a 1-0 lead. That game you can watch without commentary. So thank you again for joining us and for your patience and tuning in. We really appreciate the support. And for all of you tuning in from Saskatchewan, I know there's a good contingent there. Regina with a 1-0 lead over Calgary 2 after the first end. And Halifax 2 up 1-0 over Saskatoon 2. This third end is brought to you in part by Team Edmonton, a non-profit organization that supports and promotes 2S LGBTQ plus sports leagues, creating a safe, welcoming, and inclusive space for all. They support with advocacy, fundraising, grants, and donations. And new this year, we're very excited. They're introducing lawn bowling, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get to this game here. Again, thank you for joining us midway through this game here. So we are in the third end, and Saskatoon
they're going
looking
after
to clean
the
it
front
up. Yeah.
guard now because the one on the outside, it totally wasn't in the house yet, so they couldn't attack it until this shot.
There we go. So now they just cleaned it up a little bit.
It opened it up.
Yep.
It's a nice spacing for those two yellow ones for Edmonton, which is kind of nice to see. And he's got to get a guard up or something just to protect something, or possibly split the house.
Derek Scarbin, the third for Edmonton won. He just won the Curling with Pride League Championship, last week and a half ago. So once again, Edmonton, the host city. This is our third time hosting, back in 06, 2014, 2025. How far is it? I mean, Dean Carlson, for those of you who don't know, Dean, he has his name on the trophy because he donated it. He was one of the founding fathers of this event. And how different has this event been from 2006 to where we are now in 2025? It's been almost 20 years.
It is going on this 19th year. It has changed dramatically. When we first started this, we had only had Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto. Those were the only teams that had a league big enough to support a bonspiel and to host the Nationals. And to be at this stage and this level now, and back then too, it was still just a fun thing. It was all of us getting together to share in our community and our support and the love of curling. And it's turned into something extremely competitive. We didn't even have that many rules in the beginning other than whatever Curl Canada told us we had to do. And now it's really changed into a class event that is truly has some of the most remarkable curlers I've seen in our gay leagues for quite some time.
Next year, Prince Edward Island will be putting in a team,
Yes,
which is exciting to see the growth
very
out in the
exciting.
Atlantic provinces.
And somewhere beautiful to go visit and curl as well for us. 'Cause we do go from east to west with this bonspiel to try to keep it fair for everybody who's having to travel, that it's not one-sided. And it's good for all of us to see all parts of Canada, because we really need to take advantage of the fact that we have a beautiful country that a lot of people never get to see. And this really opens up the eyes and gets people to places they didn't think they'd ever get to.
And the beauty of it is you don't just have to be a national level curler.
Absolutely
because there's
not.
also the fun spiel that runs alongside it, at least for right now. We might get to a point where nationals get so big that you're not even going to run a fun spiel alongside
Because you won't
of it.
necessarily have to.
Yeah.
The fun spiel aspect is to get other people to come out and show up, as well as help share the cost as well.
Yeah.
Because these events are not cheap to be putting on a regular basis by any means, which is why we always look for sponsorships from our community and within. Just to put something like this on, it really takes a lot of time and commitment, and I mean, we know the hours that we've put in, and I mean, this is all volunteer for all of us. And it's just a special event. It's just something really amazing to be a part of, to say that you were a part of, and just come and watch. Come down, watch it stream, or come on down and watch it live. It's really interesting, and the personalities are just incredible.
There's the double takeout there for Jordan Raymond.
And that's going to be the first double for today.
Yep.
Because here at the Granite, with our Nationals event, if you get a double and you have that double board at the end of the game, you are still going to get a pitcher of beer for your reward.
Speaking of beers, unbelievable support that we've been getting right across the country. You can support your favorite curler or team by buying them a drink for $7.50 for a single, $23 for the pitcher. All you have to do is e-transfer curlingwithpride@gmail.com. That's curlingwithpride@gmail.com. Make sure you include the curler's name or the team name in the e-transfer message, and we'll be sure to get that to them. And let me tell you, the table was full of little sheets.
I was
with all these
shocked
orders.
yesterday. And yet nobody bought me a drink for all of our hard work and everything else either. But you know what? It's nice to see that people are out there watching, they're supporting, and they want to be a positive influence on all of us and to make sure that we're all having a good time.
So
And I
if
think
you
that's
want
just
to
awesome.
buy a drink for Dean Carlson or Kevin Jesus, curlingwithpride@gmail.com will gladly accept. So here we go. Jordan Raymond throwing third stones for Saskatoon 1. He's played mixed doubles with Yachiw-Omelian, pre-Olympic trials as well. Is he going to get a bit of
I think
a
he was
roll
hoping
here?
for a
That's what
roll
he-
closer to the yellow stone, so that there'd be potential for a double.
I feel like Saskatoon seems to be struggling a little bit with their lines here. There's something going on with the ice. They're misreading something here, because there's been the last 3 shots haven't quite gone exactly the way they wanted. Again, it's not a crisis situation
No,
here yet.
not
but
yet. I mean, we're only in the third end. We've still got some time. It's not a high-scoring game yet, so they're holding them to it. They're just going to have to work that little bit harder to get out of this funk or whatever it is that they're in and really step it up.
So despite hosting the national championships 3 times and founding the national championships, Edmonton has actually never won this event. So maybe third time's the charm.
We can hope it's going to be. I would very much like to see that trophy stay here
Yeah.
for once.
Jeremy Theaker, the skip for Edmonton 1. As we mentioned before, when we were just kind of talking evidently into thin air, love Jeremy, great member of our Curling with Pride League. We literally just found out this morning that it is Theaker, not Theaker.
That was a bit of a shock to me. I had no idea.
Yeah.
He mentioned it to me today because I said it on Global yesterday, and he was like, "Stop calling me that." And I'm like, "That's your name." And you
I
should
love
never
it.
tell somebody how to pronounce their last name. I'll tell you that right now.
That is hilarious.
But he's such a good-hearted person that he wasn't really that affected by it. It's been happening his whole life.
Yachiw-Omelian throwing her first of the 2 skip stones.
It looks like there might be a double there.
I mean, it looks pretty thin from up here, that overhead cam.
Hers are interesting because they'll just take off right at the end. She's got
There's
it.
the hit. There's the roll. Does she get it? And she does. The double.
Now that's hard to say if that yellow is out quite yet. It still might be just biting on the outside.
Our overhead cam, based on the situation that it is, I can see a little bit of white there, so I'm going to assume that yellow is out.
That can be a tricky one too,
But-
because you always want to measure those ones just to make sure, because if the rings are just off ever so slightly.
You almost need to just tackle this with the assumption
That
that
it's
it's in.
Because you don't want something like that to come back and bite you in the ass when you try to blank,
Yeah.
and then it's no longer a blank for you.
So Jeremy Theaker with his final shot here in the third end.
This should curl a little bit just to get in behind that front red one, or it's going to sit wide open.
He got it.
You got it out. Now it's
So-
going to be Saskatchewan to decide if that rock is in or not. Is she going to take the chance that it is just barely biting? And it looks like she's not going to take that risk.
Yep,
And
just
good
get rid
for
of
her.
it, blank it again.
I don't think I would take that risk with her.
Well, why ruin the strategy?
Absolutely. And it's funny, when Saskatoon was hosting the Nationals, I was curling with Matthew Lepave, and we were curling this Saskatchewan team, and I don't know what I was thinking. I probably wasn't thinking, and that was the problem, that she had made the most incredible shot that I assumed that had to be the last shot of the game, because why else would you make such an incredible shot? And I started kicking the stones away, and there were still 2 more shots to go.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking too smart that day. But she took it in great stride, and she was just incredible and amazing. I mean, they were slaughtering us anyway, so it's not like it was going to make a difference.
I'm loving the insight. So here we go to blank the end.
And it's looking like she's easily got this.
Never in doubt.
Great
Never
job,
in
great
doubt.
job.
So through 3 ends of play here, Edmonton won with a 1 and Saskatoon won 0. We'll be back with a 4th end action here from the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton, the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club for Canadian Pride Curling Championships. The 4th end, brought to you in part by the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose. My name is Kevin Jesus. Dean Carlson here as well. He had to step aside, but I am joined by Ryan Davidson, the alternate for Saskatoon 1. Ryan, how's it going, man?
It's good. It's been a good time so far. Busy on the ice there. A lot of curling games.
So as alternate, like, what's kind of the strategy here? Are you just coming in if someone gets injured, or is it with the 7 games you guys are deciding to flip-flop the rosters here? What are you guys doing here?
Well, I've been their alternate for about 5-6 years now.
Yep.
In all the nationals, and typically it's just going to be if someone hurts themselves,
Yep.
or is just too tired. There's a lot of games.
So, and that was what I was going to ask,
Yeah.
is this year, we're trying a new format here with the CPCC, so there's 7 games. So fatigue might start to come a factor. I mean, there's 3 games today. Are you kind of figuring you might be seeing some action later today?
Well, I got told to bring my team jacket and my curling pants. So
Well, you always want to be prepared no matter what
Yeah.
happens, though, right?
I think there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance. That's perfect. I hear you have an aunt that's maybe watching right now.
Well, it's kind of a aunt to all of us, but not
Oh, yeah.
by blood per se. But the second here, Jason Evanachko, his aunt Des big fan.
Big fan.
Always watches, comes and supports us.
That's what I love about
Yeah.
Saskatchewan, eh? Everyone just loves and supports everyone. It's fantastic.
She's kind of just an honorary aunt, so for the team. I hope she's listening. Hi, Des.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you think your team is going to do here at Nationals?
Honestly, look, I think they have a really good chance of doing really well. It was just really tough game, that first game, but second game started out strong and came to a close end there, but they pulled through, and hopefully they can keep that momentum up.
I know I promised you I only keep you for 1 minute, but you're doing such a fantastic job.
Oh, no.
How exciting is it, though, when you see, Saskatoon is doing so well. They've got 2 teams now at Nationals. You have Regina now. You got 3 teams from Saskatchewan. That's pretty remarkable. It's got to speak volumes about the level of talent that we're seeing in that province.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the Prairie Lily from Saskatoon, it just gets bigger and bigger every year. And I can't speak too much to Regina. I think this is their first.
It is their first.
Yeah.
Their first event. They have a couple. Mike Armstrong and Dustin Kidby have both been at the Briar a few times, and they're representing Regina there. So they're going to be one of the powerhouses. It's funny though.
Are.
So many talented curlers in Saskatchewan, but Sask still can't win the Briar. 1980, Rick Folk. I'm tired of always hearing about Rick Folk. It's it's done. Let's have someone else win the Briar for once.
Well, I mean, they had a pretty good run this year, that's for sure.
They were so close. The last couple of years, Saskatchewan's, been just, you can almost taste it, but they weren't able to get that job done.
Not quite, but I don't know. Maybe there's still a few Briar potentials on this ice.
Yeah,
here.
right? Exactly. Who knows? You're having fun, though, here in Edmonton?
Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah.
I used to live here years ago. So
Okay, and then you went back to...
back home to Saskatoon, so I always have a good time when I'm back in Edmonton.
So I'm the reverse. I lived in Saskatoon for about 7 years, working at Global News there. Then I ended up moving back here. So,
that's usually the norm.
Yeah,
People
right?
don't usually go back to Saskatoon, I don't think. But
I do like to go back to visit friends.
Yeah.
And I do like going, for walks down by the Weir and the traffic bridge and stuff like that. It is probably one of the nicest
It's a
river
beautiful
valleys. It
downtown
is fantastic.
city, so.
And it's really changed a lot. So it's been fantastic. The Paris of the Prairies in Saskatoon.
100%.
Ryan, thank you very much, man. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
appreciate it. Good luck the
Appreciate
rest of
it.
the way.
Thank you.
We'll keep an eye here as Saskatoon 1 takes on Edmonton 1 in the 4th end.
Thank you.
Dean Carlson back here again. Big thank you to Ryan Davidson for stepping in and having a quick little chat as we take a look here. Draw 4. Again, it is presented by the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose. Since 1976, they've been an integral part of Edmonton's 2S LGBTQ+ community, one of the first organizations to donate to HIV research in the 80s, providing a scholarship fund to support 2S LGBTQ+ students entering post-secondary in Alberta. And they fundraise for so many community groups and events. We talked about Godiva doing drag bingo here. She was one of the queens.
Absolutely, and they're the ones doing fundraisers for us, whether it's from a brunch that, they raise substantial amounts of money for their scholarships as well as for other members of the community to put on events like this. And we're so thankful for them and all the hard work that they do, because I certainly couldn't do it. I would probably fall off my heels, or I'd be looking like I should be working a corner in a part of town I shouldn't be in to start with.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, just a quick update again. We know there's a big Saskatchewan contingent tuning in and watching this right now. Over on Sheet E, Calgary 2 with a 3-1 lead over Regina. And on Sheet H, Saskatoon 2 and Halifax 2 tied up at 1. Both those games in the third end. Here on Sheet C, not quite the shot that they were hoping for.
Just caught that top guard. I thought it was going to make it over, but it was just inside.
So Edmonton sitting 2 right now in the house. Again, they took an early 1-0 lead in that first end. They've blanked the second and third ends. So, again, this is an 8-end game. No, nothing really to worry about yet.
It's not a runaway or anything yet. So now you've got to decide: do you want to guard, or do you want to continue to split the house up, give them more things to shoot at, to possibly keep something there for yourself?
So what would you do in this situation? Would the guard be the situation, or would you be looking just to kind of keep splitting it up?
At this stage, I would want to split it just a little bit more.
And it looks like that's what they're trying to do here.
The more you have in the house, the more things they've got to try to hit at. And as long as there's no doubles, it's going to be tough to remove all of them.
Derek Scarbin, the third for Edmonton. And big thank you to Derek, actually. He's the one that introduced us to David Veldekamp, who's been our photographer here for Nationals and opening ceremonies and so forth. So that's been a welcome addition. We've posted a link on our on Facebook and Instagram where you can see some of those professional style pictures.
That's still okay. It's going to be far enough back that that's not going to be a hindrance to them at all. It's a nice position in the house to be in.
So now if you're Saskatchewan, do you just kind of hit and roll in behind that?
You want to hit and roll behind that yellow one if you possibly can, and not worry about the one in the back.
You know, I said it yesterday when we were doing this. Matt Patrick and I were calling the game involving Saskatoon 1. Man, I love their jackets. They're just so sharp. They just like jump out at you. I mean, Edmonton's are great too, obviously with the pride colors, but Saskatchewan's, that green and yellow, just fantastic. They get the hit, they get the roll perfectly.
Beautiful, right behind cover.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want here. So now, if you are Edmonton,
you've got to push your yellow back onto the red. And hopefully it'll stay right behind the guard in the front, because he's got to hit that right on the nose.
What you don't want is your angle is all off and you just peel that away.
If you peel it away, at least it's still going to be wide open.
Yeah.
Because there isn't a lot of stuff in front of the house for them to get by if they have to.
That line is off.
A little bit outside.
That was way
that
outside. And that's exactly what we were scared of there for them.
That's exactly what it was.
That line was just
might be
off.
a little different, because that's where Saskatchewan's been having some troubles too.
So now I imagine they're going to take out this yellow. They'll split the house.
Absolutely.
And try and get your two. Again, as we've been seeing as this game has progressed, the lines have been just off slightly. Both teams seem to be struggling with that a little bit. There it goes.
Trying to sit
and
right
now
Avanochko,
a hard sweep. It just freezes right on top of it.
Just a small
perfect
bump.
shot.
I think there's still a double there. They might lose theirs in the back, but I think that's all right too.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to be trying. The beauty of it is, Dean, is we have microphones down there, so we can actually start to hear a little bit of the conversation. Jeremy just needs to talk louder. He's very...
he is a very quiet speaker.
He is a quiet speaker. Yeah, we do have the mic set up downstairs to get some of that ambient sound going on. Over on Sheet D, by the way, the defending champions, Toronto won. They just scored 3 in the second end to take a 4-0 lead over Winnipeg. So here comes Jeremy. I
think he's only going to get the one.
Doesn't look like he has quite the angle for it. Oh, he ended up taking out his own two.
And that's not so bad either, because now, you know,
there's no backing there.
There's no backing for that red one.
But Saskatchewan still, Saskatoon still in the driver's seat as they do have the opportunity here. Things are still starting to look like they might be able to get there too, which is exactly what you want when you're blanking those ends.
Absolutely. You're doing that for a purpose, and it's to make sure that you can get to. This is going to be tricky, though, because they haven't done a lot out on this side of the ice this far outside yet.
Taking that extra time to clean those rocks.
Absolutely.
As they've noticed. So we are on skip stones here in the fourth end of draw number 3 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Edmonton won, Saskatoon won, both teams with a 1-1 record.
She's definitely got it.
Yep. Perfect. Still splits it. I don't quite see an opportunity here for the double. I think it'd be pretty thin. Again, from our angle, from our vantage point.
It's definitely a tough one. I guess maybe today's the day we need Yachiw-Omelian to be here.
She available? She out picking up her kids again?
No, it's her birthday weekend, and she said she was going to be having
weekend.
some fun.
There
so
you go.
She might be starting that a little early, and if she is, happy birthday to you, and have a good one.
It is incredible just how dominant that Homan team is.
Oh.
Like, they are nearly flawless. Like, we've seen some great women's teams over the years. I mean, obviously there's the legendary Sandra Schmerler. You've seen Colleen Jones. You've seen Jennifer Jones. But there's just something different about this team Homan that just really takes your breath away.
Every generation has to have one, and this is this generation's.
It really is, right?
You know, they're just curling incredibly well. They're dialed in. And it's like she said yesterday, like, they're all friends. And I think that makes a big difference when you're all together, because you can say things to each other, not in hate or malice, but just to help the other person get better.
So they were trying that double. Again, the angles were pretty off, so...
It should be an easy 2 for Saskatchewan.
Yep, you just got to get a piece of the house. And you'll get your 2. Maybe rely on your sweepers a little bit.
That's why they're there.
So here we go. Final shot of draw of end, the fourth end. Wow, I cannot speak this morning. Probably because I woke up at 4:45 this morning. I was wide awake, and then my dog got excited. And it was
no going back to bed.
There was no going back to bed for that. So here we go. Sam Yachiw-Omelian with the final shot here of the fourth end. Needs a draw to get 2 to put Saskatoon 1 on the board and a 2-1 lead. The sweepers just walking beside it. No one's on it. Looks like it's probably all there.
Oh, it's definitely all there by itself.
Just give it a little help, just in case.
In the paint, so they're going to be good
it's
to go.
there. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Applause here in the lounge as Saskatoon takes a 2-1 lead. We'll be back with fifth end action in just a few minutes. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club here in Edmonton. Wow, okay.
Oh, that can't be good if the skip's coming down.
No, Sam like sprinted out there. Daryl Finch.
It's going to get across. It'll be okay.
Didn't hog it.
It looks like they've swept it right in.
Oh, did they sweep her?
They drug that sucker.
That was
right.
a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Bad time to go to the bathroom.
Should have planned that way better.
Yeah, maybe. But that's okay.
It worked out.
That's why Sam came out. Was like, I got you. You go to the washroom. You take care of yourself, and I've got you back.
Absolutely. These things happen.
Christopher Huven throwing lead stones for Edmonton. Again, quite the successful realtor here in Edmonton. Just won the Curling with Pride League Championship. And we had mentioned, I don't think we were on the air when we mentioned it, but Daryl Finch came up and came and told me that actually it wasn't Daryl, actually it was Jason Evanochko who came up and chatted, who mentioned that there is a picture kicking around somewhere of Crystal Ball, Chris's alter ego in drag, dressed up in a cowhide dress in front of a cowhide rug, all camouflaged. Would love to get my hands on that picture. I'm sure it'd be fabulous.
That would be quite interesting, actually, because it's kind of like those kid shots that they do, in the settings and everything else. Just be a very large child.
I think that's one of the cool things about Nationals is year after year, you're starting to see a lot more of the familiar faces. So a lot of these teams know each other. A lot of these teams have played with each other. And you have some of the teams that have, bounced around from city to city, province to province. And so you kind of see that interaction. Everyone's really starting. We live in such a big country, such a vast country, but it's pretty small one for events like this.
Absolutely, especially getting together like this too. And then you also have people from other cities who are moving around as well.
Yeah.
That's how we ended up with Theaker as well. He is from Saskatchewan, but because of his work and everything else, he moved to Alberta, and that was to our advantage. And
that's actually how I first kind of met Jeremy when I joined Curling with Pride. And I always curl with a Riders jersey. So he immediately was like, hey, a Riders fan, what's going on? And that's how we first started chatting. But great to see the support out here. You talk about moving teams. Logan Chinsky over in one of the Calgary teams. He's trying to win. Obviously, if the Calgary one wins, he'd be the first curler to win the national championships with two different teams because he won back in 2015 with Vancouver. So
that would be interesting to be able to say you've done that twice with two different teams is pretty incredible.
So here we go. Edmonton with the Yellowstone, Saskatoon with the red. My name's Kevin Jesus, joined here with Dean Carlson. The fifth end is brought to you in part by Evolution. For more than 10 years, Evolution has been Edmonton's only club serving the 2S LGBTQ plus community. They host regular drag and burlesque shows, a great place to party. They've raised more than $500,000 to support groups like HIV Edmonton, GSA's, Canadian Mental Health Association, and Curling with Pride. They have a new location opening up shortly on Jasper Ave, and I heard a rumor that we're going to be the first ones.
We are part of their soft opening, which we are quite excited to see. I have been in this space before when it was its former...
It was the Rain
glory.
Nightclub.
It was called Rain Nightclub, and now it's going to be Evolution. It's a spectacular building, and it looks like they're going to be doing more foodstuffs and stuff like that as well. So it's going to be open during the day as opposed to just a nightclub at night. And I'm looking forward to this coming in.
Edmonton's really needed that.
We've needed something for our community to get back to, just to regroup, basically, and have a safe space for everybody to be in.
Yeah, we don't need to be in the basement. We know it'll be nice to be out and about, and just eat. Also, it'll be nice too during the day. You can go down and have a drink, and it'll be just a cool, safe, welcoming, and inclusive space for all. So kudos to the whole crew over at Evolution. They've done a fantastic job.
And I think they're working really hard to try to get this open for this weekend, just to capitalize on the fact that we've got this many gay curlers here in one city at one time. And let's get some feedback as to have we done this right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point of those soft openings, right?
And
you want to...
Let's hope that it's going to be nice enough because they have a rooftop patio.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
We might be able to have a little cocktail up there because I wouldn't be... I'd be happy to see that happening.
Rob, if you're listening, if you can make an espresso martini, I will be there all the time. My drink of choice. Quick scoreboard updates as we take a look around the Granite Curling Club. Halifax won with a 4-3 lead over Vancouver over on sheet A. Over on sheet B, it is a 2-0 lead for Toronto 2 over Montreal. On sheet D, Toronto won with a commanding 6-0 lead over Winnipeg. You gotta wonder, on a day like today where there's 3 games, do you shake hands at some point here?
You are going to possibly have to pace yourself. I mean,
Right?
if you're really struggling now and you don't think your team's going to pull out of this, then maybe it is time to cut your losses and say, you know what, let's regroup. We're going to come back stronger after this.
Let's
take a
focus
little
on
break,
those last 2 games, yeah.
and let's talk about what we weren't doing right and really capitalize on trying to make that better for the next round.
Calgary 2 with a 4-1 lead over Regina. So Regina starting to face some adversity here in their first ever appearance at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Ottawa up 3-1 over Calgary 1. Edmonton 2 with a 5-1 lead over St. John's. And Halifax 2 up 2-1 over Saskatoon 2. Over here in our featured sheet, Sheet C, Edmonton 1 taking on Saskatoon 1. Both teams 1-1 coming into this game. Saskatoon 1 with a 2-1 lead here in the 5th end. Jordan Raymond throwing the third stones for Saskatoon. Daryl Finch on it right away. Jason Evanochko, the second for Saskatoon. He actually played Daryl Finch, who's the lead, in the 2017 final. It was an all Saskatoon final back in 2017, which is actually pretty neat. He's one of the founders of the Prairie Lily Curling Club. He's also in the military, which is pretty cool too. So thank you for your service. So right now, Saskatoon sitting 3 in the house. As
I think Jeremy's got to try for that double. Even if he stuffs it on the back and it sticks, at least he can roll over, hopefully behind his own for some cover. I think it is doable.
Derek's been pretty solid with his shots here, so. But we'll see. It's all about the angles.
Absolutely.
Both sweepers have been on it.
Now it needs a little curl. It just needs a little bit of curl.
They might just get it. Oh, and they just missed.
it.
Again, a game of inches.
Jeremy's going to be quite happy because there isn't anything in the front of the house. If he has to draw for one, he definitely will. That's going to tie up this game. He's still in it. So it'll just be a matter of what happens going forward from here, where it's skip stones. They can't get too much in the front to block any passages, so.
Well, here's the other thing too for the other thing that you want to start considering is, so say Edmonton scores here, then Saskatoon presumably gets the hammer in the 6th and the 8th ends. So that starts to play a little bit of a factor as well.
Absolutely, because you definitely want to have hammer coming closer to the 8th end, but you also have to be careful that you don't want to keep blanking until the bitter end, and then all of a sudden that's when you lose it too.
Now, to be clear, in this situation here, there's really no chance of blank ends.
Not now. Those rocks are too spread out to even. I'm not even sure if Rachel could make all 3 of those disappear, but if anybody could, it would be her. Absolutely.
So Jeremy Theaker with his first rock here as we get into skip stones here on sheet C, the 5th end. Tight game, which is exactly what you want to see.
Both curling very well today. I mean, there was a little bit of some line issues earlier, but I think they're working them out, and it's coming together for both teams.
Jeremy Theaker, no stranger to nationals. He's been there several times. He's also second all-time with Curling with Pride league titles with 3. So He's seems to be firing on all cylinders here, but now we'll see what happens at Nationals if he can get the job done and actually take Edmonton to a gold medal game. Where's our deer first? Jeremy's first shot.
It's looking like he's on the line, so things are looking good. Hold it out there. He should definitely have it with a possibility of catching that back one. And he
just nudged it, but it's still counting.
Still counting. But now he's shot rock, so
kudos to Christopher Huven for all the sweeping there. You may not be able to see it here because he's got his jacket on, he's got gloves on, but he's got braces on both arms right now, on both wrists.
I noticed that today, yesterday actually, and he said that it's necessary for him today because he is doing this much sweeping, and you've got to protect your body when you're doing this. A lot of people don't realize that the wear and tear on the body from this sport is just like any other sport. You know, you're doing a repetitive motion all the time, and that takes its toll on the body. I'm not going to lie, my shoulder isn't feeling so good either. I'm usually skipping, and I'm playing lead this time, and it's a whole lot of sweeping going on. I have a whole new respect for my sweepers.
We joked with Chris that he said he just woke up one day and he couldn't move his wrist. So it could have been carpal tunnel or just old age.
Well, you know, or it could be something else that we're not going to mention on air, but nonetheless.
Sam Yachiw-Omelian with her final stone here in the fifth end.
And she just wants to move this out, take it out of the picture, possibly sit behind. She knows it doesn't matter where she sits. He's probably just going to draw for the one.
Needs to curl a little bit here, though.
If this might...
You don't want that to catch on the red.
No, because that's going to
exactly
hit the back.
what... No.
Oh,
wow.
She just snuck it past. So lucky.
A bit of a scare.
Because that could have been a draw for two.
Yeah, that bit
now
of a
it's
scare
looking
there.
Like it's just a draw for one. Tie up the game. Go into the sixth
Going
end.
into the sixth end, tied up. Again, a good situation to be in.
And it's nice. He's throwing it to where he's got a bit of backing. If he is a little bit heavy, that red one is back there to catch him. Use everything you can in your arsenal to protect yourself to get that one.
I've got to say, the nice thing about this game is they are speeding. They are moving quick here, which is really good.
There is no slow curling going on here today at all. I don't know if it's a bit frostier out there and they just want to be done a little quicker.
They also know it's a long day. If you start getting delays,
absolutely,
then that 9:30 p.m. draw, you don't want that one starting at 10 or a little bit later.
No, because then you're going to be here till 12:30 tonight.
And nobody wants that.
And still be here tomorrow morning yet again. Beautiful
Easy draw. Gets the one.
We are tied up.
Edmonton 1, Saskatoon 1. Tied up at 2 through 5 ends. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton, Alberta. Canadian Pride Curling Championships. It is the sixth end of draw number 3 between Edmonton 1 and Saskatoon 1. Game tied up at 2. The sixth end is brought to you in part by Special Event Rentals. For any event, big or small, Special Event Rentals has the experience, the knowledge, and customer service needed to make your event a success. They are Western Canada's largest event rental company and a big supporter of Curling with Pride. Quick scoreboard update, and I know all of you watching from Saskatchewan will be keen to see these updates. Over on sheet H, Halifax 2 with a 2-1 lead over Saskatoon 2. That game in the fifth end. Over on sheet E, we talked about how Regina was facing adversity, down 4-1 going into the fourth end. Well, they sure turned that around in a hurry, because in that fourth end, Regina scored not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not even 5. They scored 6 in the fourth end, and they have turned that game around. They're now up 7-4. Regina up 7-4 over Calgary 2. That's incredible.
That was an amazing last shot that they had to make in order to get that to happen. And I must say that this Regina team is just impressing me to no end. Not only are they great curlers, they're amazing people as well. I've been chatting with them. And, you know, we're building up a little bit of a friendship, too, because they're eventually going to be hosting this as well. And a couple of them asked for my number so that we can keep in contact. Because when they're going to do it, they're going to do it right. And they want to make sure that they've got all of their ducks in a row so that when they're hosting, they're going to put on a successful event. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to help them. We're going to give them anything that we possibly can to put on a successful event, because we want this to be that for everybody. So we like to share that information and knowledge and just continue on providing an amazing experience for everybody to come to.
So I've never curled in Regina, but I have curled in Balgony, which is just a town outside of Regina. Fun fact, the first time I ever really stepped onto curling ice and actually learned how to curl was Pat Simmons. He was skipping Saskatchewan at the time.
Get out of town. That's crazy.
That is a great shot here. Wonderful shot by...
but that yellow stuck around in the back just to be a bit of a problem.
Those are the ones. Those biters are always the ones that
they can come back to haunt you.
Yeah, Pat Simmons was the one that taught me how to curl.
What an amazing experience for you to actually meet somebody like that at that caliber already, and for your first time. I mean,
yeah, it was. I was broadcasting at the time. Global Saskatoon was the host broadcaster for the Saskatchewan Tankard, and I was doing the hosting for the games. Eugene Hritzik, who represented Saskatchewan at the Briar back in the 90s, or it was the 80s, was doing commentary. And anyways, I was standing there, and Pat Simmons comes up to me and goes, "Have you ever curled?" I'm like, "No, I've never actually curled. I enjoy the sport, never actually curled." He goes, "We're going to teach you." And after one of the games, he got me onto the ice, and literally the way I slid out of the hack is he told me to grab onto the broom, and he just pulled me down, and he's like, "This is the motion, this is how you want to feel, and you want to make sure when you're releasing that you're shaking my hand afterwards," right? It was just a little tips by Pat Simmons, and just a wonderful man, a great curler. He certainly went on to have some great success both with Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what that level of curling does for those people. Is it's such a wonderful community of curlers that they're willing to help other people get into the sport, because that's the only way the sport is going to survive, is bringing in new people who've never experienced any of this before, and to share that wealth of knowledge with somebody who, as a first-time curler, just inspires them to want to do better and to do more.
Yep, 100%. This is your reminder as we're in the sixth end to support your favorite curler or team.
Or commentators.
Or commentators, Dean Carlson, Kevin Jesus. Support them buying a drink, $7.50 for a single, $23 for a pitcher. All you have to do is send an e-transfer to curlingwithpride@gmail.com. That's curlingwithpride@gmail.com. Include their name or the team name in the e-transfer message, and we'll be sure to get their drink out to them. So taking a look at this situation, you're right. That far Yellowstone from Edmonton, just biting in the back there. Could that become problematic?
Absolutely.
We'll have to wait and see what happens here.
That was a really nice guard that got set up there to keep that from coming in on that side now. They've got to be on this other side. And this is a side that everybody's having a bit of trouble with. So we'll see how this is going to go for them. So far it's looking good, as long as they can hold it.
Got a piece of it.
Got a piece.
There's the sweep to get it out,
and
it is out of there.
The Theaker still has that one in the back, so if he can get around here, he's
and there's
still
that
got
guard,
one.
so you just
absolutely
pull it in.
you've got something
that
to hide behind.
Yep.
If you.
Interesting yesterday, a couple of games that no tick rule yesterday was a little bit of a factor. Today, it seems like everyone's used to that rule and it isn't so much of an issue.
I think it's just something to get used to because we follow Curl Canada's rules and regulations going forward just to be in line with everything and keep it an even playing field for everybody. And it's just something new that they started last year that we're really embracing this year. Some leagues had it in their regular play and some of us didn't. But I think most of the Nationals teams were always playing with it just to make sure they were going to be used to it. Ooh,
Wow,
Packers having to drag this back as long as it's a glider.
Gets
Wow,
around the guard.
That is some amazing sweeping. Great job.
And right behind cover. That took a lot of extra oomph to get that across,
and
but they got it done.
Where Christopher Heuven had to stop for a little bit. Like we said, his wrists are a bit of a problem, but he is still going to the bitter end. And that's some commitment.
So it looks like Saskatchewan's just going to peel that guard, just really open things up here. Ooh, he needs to curl, though.
He needs to curl a lot. They're going to get a piece of it, just enough.
Just enough. Well, now they're biting now.
They do have a biter, and I think that's a
they're
problem
still-
that should be dealt with.
Now,
Yes,
Edmonton is still sitting 2.
But you want to make sure that
So you just get rid of it?
I think that's
Yeah.
the call. You don't want to give them the opportunity for multiple points at this stage of the game.
So here comes a shot from Derek Scarbin.
Things are looking pretty good.
You want it out.
Just give it a little sweep so you could possibly either sit right there or roll over ever so slightly, and that's just fine.
So they're still sitting 2. They got rid of the Saskatchewan biter. Big update over on Sheet A, by the way. Vancouver up 5-4 on Halifax 1. Halifax 1, 2-0 so far going into this game. Vancouver winless. Vancouver lost their first game yesterday 9-0.
It's an amazing comeback for them, and it looks like they didn't even get their points till the third and the fourth end.
Yeah.
So they are definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with going forward if they continue on this streak. I think Saskatchewan here was hoping to get a little bit further over with that roll, just to get a little bit behind, but that gives Theaker the opportunity to get in there and get behind his own and protect himself.
It's interesting how some skips, they really take the time to really think about, contemplate the shots or whatever. Jeremy, he seems to know the second that the Saskatoon Rock is stopped, it's done. It's like he already knows exactly what he wants. He's basically bolting to the other end of the
He's a very
ice.
strategic curler, and I admire those people because they're thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead. And maybe it's just me, but I like to see what's going to happen first before I plan anything, because who knows what's ever going to happen. But for him, he knows exactly what he needs to do to make it happen, and he just does it. And I mean, as much as I would like both of these teams to win, we've got to have one clear winner. And also, I don't want Saskatchewan to beat me up because they're sitting right beside me. Very nice takeout going on there. He's still sitting top of the house.
Look at Sam Yachiw-Omelian.
She's lining it up for the double. She knows she's got to get them both.
She smells blood in the water here, and I think she feels like she can get this done. Now, if you get this done,
you might want to blank this one and try to get something set up to where you've got some cover, because if you don't have any cover, it's going to be pretty hard to get more than 1 point.
But if you're Saskatchewan, if you blank this end, presumably you score in the 7th, then that leaves Edmonton with the hammer in the 8th.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you want to blank in this
You've got to
end.
be careful what you're doing here.
Well, she's.
I'm not sure if she's going to get them both. There is the possibility.
Gets one, gets both, gets the double.
Nice. Great shot.
So now, if you're Jeremy, you're going to hit. You're
Thacker's
going to roll
hit
in
and roll
behind.
behind his own just to make it that much harder for Saskatchewan to get out or force them to a 1.
We've got handshakes over on sheet D as Toronto 1 defeats Winnipeg. Toronto 1 improves to 2-1, while Winnipeg drops down to 1-2. Speaking of Winnipeg, they will be our feature game, draw number 4, as Winnipeg takes on Edmonton 2. That game at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Mountain Standard Time.
Oh, this has got some curling to get done here. We really need this to move a bit. There we go. Is it going to be enough to get behind?
Not.
It's not quite, but it's not horrible.
And
now is Sam going to blank or is she going to take the 1?
I feel like she wants it out and blanks it.
I think she wants to blank as well. Tied up with the hammer would be nice for the last one, but we'll see if that's what's going to happen.
It's got to be a good feeling for Toronto 1 to have handshakes early because they were on the ice quite late last night. Again, they went to 9 ends against Ottawa, losing in heartbreaking fashion there. So the 2-time defending champions back on the winning track. Here comes Sam Yachiw-Omelian with her final shot here in draw number 6.
It's
Again, draw
good.
6
Definitely
presented by Special
looking
Event
good.
Rentals.
Looks like she's going to get out. Yep. And she's going to...
No, I don't know if it's enough.
She didn't clear it out, and she's taking
She scores her 1. So it is a 3-2 lead. Saskatoon 1 over Edmonton 1 going into the 7th end here at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. It is the 7th end here, presented by Allied Asset Management, Raymond James and Jonathan Lesick. And we've got ourselves quite the game. It is a 3-2 lead for Saskatoon 1 over Edmonton 1. Saskatoon with the Red Stones, Saskatoon with the Red Stones, Edmonton throwing the yellow. Quick update to pass along your way. Just a wild game over on Sheet E as Calgary 2 has gotten right back into it. It is now tied up at 7 between Regina and Calgary 2. That game tied up at 7. Playing on that sheet, Cregan Charnada, who apparently turns 30 years old today. So happy birthday to Mr. Charnada, who just threw right now a stone for Calgary. And over on sheet H, Saskatoon 2 with a 3-2 lead over Halifax 2 in the 6th end. But here in our feature sheet, again, it is a 3-2 lead for Saskatoon 1 over Edmonton 1. And Saskatoon, looking pretty good right now.
Absolutely. That was a really nice removal of that Edmonton stone, but they're set up for a double now, so if they can make this, both of those rocks are going to go, and they should stay.
Swana, we talked about some of the other queer curlers that may not be here at Nationals or competing here. Evan Asmussen, who actually used to curl for Curling with Pride a few years ago. Big shout out to him as his team won provincial mixed championships. They will be representing Alberta at Nationals. So congratulations to him on a job well done.
They didn't quite make the double, but they did get one out. The other is in the back of the house now. Saskatchewan's just going to go in and sit behind their guard, give them a little protection, and give them some security.
Now, if you're Saskatoon, you're really trying to ensure that you're forcing Edmonton to score here. You don't want a blank end. You don't want Edmonton to have.
You either want to steal or force them to take the one so that you got the hammer in the last end. This is really sitting outside. I don't know if that's going to get behind or not. It's not looking promising at the moment. I don't know if it was just a little bit heavy or if it just caught a straight line there. But it's all the way to the back of the house. It's looking like Jeremy wants him to hit that one and roll in front of the other red one in the bag, just for a little bit of backing.
As Aaron Auger throws second for Edmonton.
This is looking quite good. There is potential here for this to be working. Keep it straight. Oh, he's going to roll the other side, which...
Well, no, it was just a hit and stick there.
Just right on the nose.
But that does give that opportunity for Saskatoon to do a little bit of a hit and roll, split the house, and now you're forcing Edmonton to score that one. So again, strategically, not the start that Edmonton was looking for here in the 6th end. The 6th end brought you apart by Allied Asset Management, Raymond James and Jonathan Lesick. Jonathan has been a member of Curling with Pride for years, but when he's not sliding out of the hack, he's crunching numbers and taking care of your financial future. As a financial advisor, he ensures your financial goals and investments aren't just dreams, they're reality. His group provides personalized financial planning based on your goals, time, and risk tolerance.
Saskatchewan was looking to remove that Edmonton stone, but I'm not so sure. They just went by it. That's a bit of a shocker.
Jordan Raymond.
Not sure what happened there.
Again, no, it goes right back to the story of this game where the line is just off for both teams. We've been struggling with that all game long.
Absolutely, and there is the possibility that there's a bit of a straight stretch on this ice.
Yep.
You just don't know until you get out there yourself, but it seems like that's been happening a little too often for it to necessarily be the rock, but it could be just the rock as well.
This is a great opportunity for Edmonton, but again, they got to come down the same stretch of ice, and they just saw what happened.
Seen what happened. But that had a bit of weight to it too, so if this has a bit left, it should curl. I mean, all these rocks, we really did our best to try to get this to competitive ice as well as having the rock sharpened and everything else, which seems like a weird thing to say, but You actually do have to sharpen these granite rocks once in a while just in order to keep the curl going and make sure that you're going to have an amazing thing. And it's looking like it's starting to come in. It's definitely going to be there.
Didn't quite get fully behind the guard as they were hoping for.
But it's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit, I don't know if they can get it on the nose with that line being so straight.
Oh, I think that's going to be tight to get it on the nose there.
I'm not sure they can get a double out of this one.
If anything, I feel like all you're going to get is
The top
that
one, for
feel.
sure.
Jordan Raymond, though, going to certainly give it his best shot. Looking for redemption after that miss with his first stone here in the 7th end. Starting to curl now.
It's definitely going to have...
Yeah, gets the piece of it.
Just rolled out. I think that still might be a biter, though.
Yeah, it looks like
so
it might be biting here.
I don't see any paint in between the rings and that rock, so I would assume it's a definite biter.
You're starting to get a sense, starting to feel the drama, feel the tension in the air here as this game gets closer to its end. Derek Scarbin. And again, they're just looking to draw in
They're
behind
looking
that
to try
gun.
to hide behind
Yeah.
that red one. Try not to set up an easy double for Saskatchewan.
It looks like it's... Is it over curling? I think it's going to be hitting...
I think he might wick off that. Oh,
Just
he did
gets it
not. How is that
by.
even possible? I don't know if you can get a piece of paper in between those two.
That was a fantastic shot, but it does open up the opportunity for the double here.
Or to just sit in front of it, and you've got two to help
Would that
keep
be
you
the
there.
better situation, to just sit in front of it and
That's
take
what
both of
I
them
would
out?
probably do, just because now you've got two rocks behind you, and you're going to be counting. And it's going to be pretty hard for Theaker to try to get that rock out.
Once again, Saskatoon won with a 3-2 lead over Edmonton 1 here in the 7th end. Both teams 1-1 coming into this game. They are in Pool B. In Pool B, Halifax 1 and Regina both at 2-0 coming into today's games. Halifax 1 with a 6-5 lead right now over Vancouver. And of course, Regina and Calgary 2 are both tied up at 7. So a lot going on. It's still too early to be doing the scoreboard watching for teams on the ice, but as we progress by the end of tonight, they will be keeping a close eye on some of those other sheets, seeing what's going on and see if that has to impact any of their results too.
This is an interesting shot for Saskatchewan. It's
They seem
looking
off
like she
again.
might be a little bit on the outside on this one. And I don't think that's what she wanted to have happen, because
No.
now she's got those two yellow stones, one in front of the other.
And now there'll be a third
And
coming
if
right
Jeremy can protect him, he doesn't need to worry about that red one she just shot because it's so far back. But he's got to get one in the front to protect himself and possibly score multiple points here.
Once
That's what he
again,
needs.
this side of that right side of the ice, problematic.
It is absolutely.
But again, it's one of those things that both teams have to deal with it. It's not one of
Absolutely.
those situations where only one team has a disadvantage or advantage over another. Both teams have to deal with these conditions.
And at this late stage of the game, you don't want to start coming from the other side that you don't know anything about yet. They at least know where this one is straight and what they're going to have to do for weight. But the other side, you have no idea what's going to happen to that bad boy.
Well, that's a really good point, too, is even though there's some inconsistency here on this side of the sheet, it is the one side that everyone's been curling on. So you would rather have consistently inconsistent, I guess, is what you're looking for.
Curl what you know and not what you don't.
Over on sheet H, Halifax 2 has taken a 4-3 lead over Saskatoon 2. So here we go, skip stones. Jeremy Theaker.
Now this looks like it's really outside, but if it's going to slow down, it's going to curl. Let it work, let it work.
But just look at it curl. Look at it starting to
Wow,
pull in
that
towards
is-
the middle.
That
Like,
is so different from what Saskatchewan's was doing. That is just shocking to me.
and again,
Because the weight looks so similar to what Sam had thrown as well. And,
but just like
and
Derek's
look at
shot, it
that.
gets just
Oh my
past the
God.
guard.
And just right behind that red. Now the pushback on that red is, I don't know if you can get all three, but you might be able to get one.
But do you need to? Can you just draw into the and just sit there in the little pocket there, and it's nice and protected?
Well, we've seen how hard it is for them to get there, and if she's at all heavy, that could be a problem. Or if it doesn't come back at all, that could be a problem.
This is a big problem here for
This is gonna
Saskatoon.
be a
This is their
very-
final
This
stone.
is the final stone, so this is going to be determining what's happening with this end.
And to be clear, final stone for Saskatoon.
Yes, and Edmonton is sitting 3. Because there is a possibility that if she does get over, she may wick off one of the front yellows too and push herself out.
You get the sense that whatever happens here could be the turning point in this game. Sam Yachiw-Omelian, her final shot here in the 7th, facing 3. A game changer depending on what happens with this shot. The sweepers are on it.
They're really trying to hold this line right now.
You don't
'cause
want it to crash
is
on that
starting to
guard.
curl. It's curling a lot.
Gets just
And I
past.
think she is on that front yellow one.
And it's not enough. And it is 3. It is 3
for Edmonton.
for
If
Edmonton.
Edmonton can get that red one out, it will be for 4. And that will definitely change the dynamic of this game. You can see just how quickly things can turn around in this sport.
It's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating as it comes down to the little things, those little
Absolutely.
misses
And
that
it's
just made all the
minuscule.
difference.
We're talking millimeters of just being off, and that makes all the difference in this game. This should be an easy takeout for Theaker.
A lot of pressure, though. You don't. This
Pressure
is
that I wouldn't want to have. I'll
This
tell
is
you
a
that.
great opportunity for you. You don't want to screw it up.
Yeah, this is where Dean usually would try this. I would knock them in, and they would steal a point, and I'd be sad and crying.
So it looks like they're
This
just
is
going to try
looking-
and draw in.
That's not a bad shot either. All he's got to do is beat her.
But you got to get around your guard.
He's definitely around that guard for sure. Right now, it's just about weight.
It's there.
and
It's there.
What a beautiful draw for 4.
Count them up. 1, 2, 3,
2, 3,
4 for Edmonton as they suddenly turn this game around. At the end of the 7th end, it is Edmonton 1, 6, Saskatoon 1, 3, going into the final end. Saskatoon with the hammer. My
And it's
goodness.
Looking like Calgary and Regina. Oh, they're still going to go. They're still tied. I'm not sure what happened in that last end. Did you see who got the
No,
point?
it
It
was
had
a
to-
blank or...
It looks like it must have been Regina because they are throwing first rock.
We'll wait to see them update their score to see what's happening there. By the way, over on Sheet B, Toronto 2 with a 3-1 lead over Montreal. Ottawa still up over Calgary 1, up 4-2. Edmonton 2 with an 8-2 lead over St. John's. And over on Sheet H, Halifax 2 with a 4-3 lead over Saskatoon 2 going into the 7th end there. So here we go on our feature sheet. We are in our 8th and final end.
I think they recognize this was a little heavy on the way down, and they just want to sweep it through. They want to keep this game as clean as possible. Don't allow Saskatchewan to get too many going on here because they want to keep it clean to keep them, actually run them out of rocks, basically.
And that's the advantage that you have when you're up by 3.
Absolutely.
The 8th end is brought to you in part by Matera Hotel on White. It is our host hotel and proud sponsors of Edmonton's 2S LGBTQ plus community, combining the simplicity of contemporary with an eclectic design aesthetic, an authentic lifestyle hotel offering a contemporary hospitality experience who appreciate accessible luxury. So once again, let's set the stage here. 8th end of our feature game between Edmonton 1 and Saskatoon 1. Both teams came into this game with a 1-1 record. It was pretty tight, but again, things completely changed in the 7th end. A couple of misses by Saskatoon opened the door wide open for Edmonton, skipped by Jeremy Theaker, to score 4 and take a 6-3 lead. So that is the situation here in the 8th end, as Edmonton trying to earn their second win of these Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Quick update on Sheet E. Eagle-eyed Dean Carlson is correct. Regina did score. They have taken an 8-7 lead as they go into the 7th end over on Sheet E. It is an 8-7 lead, Regina over Calgary 2.
Kevin, the Saskatchewan and Edmonton game is going so much faster than all the other sheets out there today. They are well ahead of everybody else, and I think
it comes down to the skips here. I think that both Sam and Jeremy, as we've already talked about, they're very quick to just, they know what shot they want to make,
and they're
confident
ready to go.
in it, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, their team is basically, when the other team is out of the hack, they are getting in the hack, they're getting ready, getting in position to shoot their rocks and get it done. And that's what we like to see in this sport.
Yeah, over on Sheet E, it looks like they're like 2 ends behind. Big scrub there by
they've really got to work this one to get a biter. It is possible, and they are dragging that sucker for all it's worth, and they've done it. Great sweep.
So Edmonton sitting 2 right now. It is becoming harder and harder for Saskatoon. At this point now, you're going to try and draw in and hide behind those 2 guards.
Yep. Because if they start playing just a knockout game, they're not going to win it in the end. She's got to try to secure something in the house to give her that multiple possibility of a score.
A bit of a demoralizing feeling, though, given how well this game had been progressing for them.
Absolutely.
Well, they got it into the house,
it's in the house. It's not shot, but it's still there.
We're hoping to get closer to T-line, but
it's fairly well hidden.
Jeremy still thinks he can take it out.
Absolutely. And whether it's the guard or that one in the house, either way, one of them has to go. I think he's going for the one in the house.
Which also makes sense. I mean, there's also something to be said about getting rid of the guards, but there is something about just run them out of stones.
Well, and when the guards are that far up, I mean, that's a tough shot, and you certainly don't want that red to come down on your yellow, take you out, and be sitting there for 2. This is looking pretty good. He's just got to hit it on the side enough to push it out, and I mean...
Should get past the guard here.
Just barely. Barely. What a beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
They've been fantastic with some of those tight draws.
Absolutely. To be that close to that guard and just sneak by it is just impressive.
You're starting to get to a point here where Saskatoon running out of rocks, running out of options.
Quickly. Sam's not even going after any of the yellows. She's just trying to get something in the house. I'm not sure if this one's going to get there.
Jordan Raymond giving it his best shot. In comes Daryl Finch. Both of them trying to scrub it in.
They've got it in. They've got it in. But it's going to sit wide open.
And that's the problem.
Theaker is just going to come in and remove that because he knows run him out, and that's the only way for him to win at this stage without last shot. And even if he bounces off his, that's just going to give him a bit of separation, which shouldn't be so bad either, because it's going to make it harder for her to get all of them out.
Well, and the beauty for Edmonton right now is you know that at this stage of this game, you've got room for error. There's a lot of excitement up here in the lounge as people gather to watch the other games.
Some amazing games happening today. And this is looking amazingly good. Perfect shot. And now it's like they're building a wall in the front that they can't get to the button. I don't know if there's potential for a triple here, because that one in the center is kind of sandwiched in between there, and it may just stay.
This is the part of the game where I'm glad I'm not a skip. I'd be just scratching my head trying to figure out, is there anything, what can we do?
That's why Raymond
here?
is down here right now, just to discuss some options, because they're down to 4 rocks. These 4 rocks are the key to this game, and this shot is going to determine what's going to happen. And they want to make sure that, they're both on the same page with what they want to have happen here.
And they have such great chemistry together. I mean, again, they've been playing mixed doubles. And so they know each other's style. They know what they want. They know what needs to be done here.
Absolutely. And now it's just a matter of executing that plan.
Over on sheet A, Vancouver in tough right now. Halifax 1, sitting 2. Vancouver with their last stone, and a lot of guards in play. This is going to be a pretty tough shot for them.
I'm not sure how he's going to get in there to get shot, because that's very tight. And I'm not sure if he's trying to push his own back.
Yeah, they're going to try a run back on one of their guards here. But back here on our feature sheet here, Jordan Raymond trying to get something done to give Saskatoon some hope.
And this is, it's to me, it seems a bit light, but maybe it's not. Maybe this was what the plan is.
Look at the sweep by Jason Evanochko. He's such a good sweeper.
Now that's not so horrible. If I was Theaker, I think I would start guarding the front, guarding my own stones, taking away some paths. He's asking Derek to come down to discuss some options to make sure that this is what we should be doing. And I just think that's genius. If you ever second guess yourself, always ask your third what we should be doing or what you're comfortable with, because you want to make sure that they can make that happen.
But again, though, you are up 3. And right now, it's Edmonton that's sitting 3. So I don't know what they'd even be discussing at this point.
I think it's a matter of, do they try to take that red one out and scoot over to the other side, or do we put a guard up? Because right now we are sitting 4. And it's just that one red stone all by itself that I would want to come in and just possibly take that away. Just sit off center line, take away that red raise, and start limiting their options to getting into the house.
Again, there's no timers here at Nationals. Everyone's just kind of playing the honor system, trying to fit in every game. All 8 ends within 2 hours.
2 hours. And, I mean, these guys are ahead of everybody else right now, so this isn't even an issue that they took this little bit of extra time just to regroup and make sure everybody's on the same page here. And I think he is going to...
they're going to appeal the guard. They're going to appeal the guard. Quick update from sheet A. Halifax 1 did score their deuce. It was a steal of 2. So Halifax 1 with an 8-5 lead going into the 7th end. We've got handshakes over on sheet G. Edmonton 2 defeating St. John's. Over on sheet H, Saskatoon 2 with a 5-4 lead over Halifax 2. And Regina is still up 8-7 over Calgary 2 over on sheet E. Ottawa up 4-3 over Calgary 1. Here comes Derek Scarbin's last shot.
It's looking pretty good. He just
Wow.
missed that. That is shocking.
And they got
took
rid of
out
one of their
two
own. Again, these are those moments that
That's why this game is so interesting. Things can change so quickly with just one shot.
So now, what do you do if you're Saskatoon?
She's got to hit her own and start removing some of those yellow stones in order to count. She will have just enough stones left. But this is going to be crucial.
A gift for Saskatoon 1, but they still need a little bit more help.
Absolutely. They've got to hit this one just right. Because their redstone has got to be counting.
Well, and that's the part now. It's not even just even getting into the house. You got to start getting these rocks counting. By the way, if you are coming down here to the Granite Curling Club to take part in the Canadian Pride Curling Championships and watch, don't forget to buy some 50-50 tickets. Don't forget to purchase some raffle tickets, some amazing raffle prizes available up for grabs. They're all displayed up here in the lounge. So plenty of opportunities to take part. Again, that 50-50, someone took home $1,000 yesterday. So let's see where the pot grows today.
Absolutely. And that would be a nice little payout. And we need to thank our sponsors for all of those silent auction items that we have for the raffle. Some of them are just amazing, amazing prizes that you could win. And Original 16, they have always stepped up to the plate. They have provided us with a outdoor fire pit,
A guitar.
gas fire pit, and a guitar. I think I want to win the guitar so I can start taking some lessons or something.
There you go.
It's an opportunity.
So you just get past the
he's
guard
got
here.
past the guard. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to stay? And he is not.
No,
He
it didn't
rolled
stick around.
outside.
So now we're at the situation where the room for error is 0 for Saskatoon.
Absolutely. Theaker has got to start removing those stones. If he can get this out there, I don't know if there's any way that they're going to get 3.
Well, and you can already see it in the end. Aaron and Christopher are already dancing at the end. They're celebrating maybe a little too early.
Yeah, let's wait for this
But
to happen first,
you
because he
can
can
just-
sacrifice both of his and still
Yeah.
be fine. Because those two out front, they are too far out there for them to try to wick in and follow it the same way.
It's one thing to be happy and to be, feeling confident, but at the same time, as we've seen, little misses can certainly cause some problems here. And you
Yeah.
can just see the demeanor has completely changed. They're just a lot lighter now. They
Absolutely.
don't feel any pressure, and I mean, they are pretty safe right now, but Jeremy Theaker with his first of 2 skip
It's
stones.
looking okay. It's looking like he is going to get this one out. Yes,
And
he
he
did.
does.
And he's still got one in the
That-
house.
that
He's got
means
one
it's
on the
handshakes.
outside that is still touching, and that was an amazing game.
They ran them out of rocks as Edmonton 1 hangs on to the 6-3 win over Saskatoon 1. For Dean Carlson, I'm Kevin Jesus. Thank you very much for tuning in. Keep it posted to our social media on Facebook and Instagram. We will post the updated scores from this draw, the updated standings, and of course, tune in at 4 o'clock as Winnipeg takes on Edmonton 2 in our feature game. Thanks again, and we hope to see you around as the Canadian Pride Curling Championships continue here at the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton.